What up, people? Coming from you live, in effect, dropping the mic. No, from what I wanted to call Orange Door Recording Studio, but guess what? It's taken. They, like me, get very few likes on Facebook. They have one like. However, they have a photo of a really nice board. Well, that's not in here, but you know what is? Not only a $75 Epi from local pawn shop, but carpets from Grocery Outlet, and from even before then, back when God was married, a rug from wrong book of scripture. Where does it say? No, not Gutenberg. Where does it say? Gotta do some pre-vid prep in the future. But we shall find it. Maybe it is on here. What do you say, people? Sacramento, Gutenberg, Downton, Georgia. There it is. Walmart. This was from Grocery Outlet. I guess it was from Walmart, but I guess it was from Egypt. Who's this? Let me de-bubble wrap ya. Oh my God. No pun intended. It's his wife. Not quite. I couldn't find Asherah, but I found Ishtar from Egypt, so it's kind of crazy that she's standing on an Egyptian rug in 2024. Blame the snake. Blame the apple, or was it a fig? Was it a fig tree? Was it a real garden? Were there vegan dinosaurs 6,000 years ago? Don't ask anyone in Skillet for a good answer, let alone answers in Genesis. Okay, so some Liddy shite, some corny stuff is going to go down here. It's going to be so great. You're going to have to take your Donatello bow and take on some, not stormtroopers, what were they even called in Ninja Turtles? I don't remember. But that is one Liddy arcade game. 4-player, no less. But there will only be one player in here, not a 4-piece, although it may end up sounding some of the recordings like a 8-piece. But what I really wanted to focus on, it's really hard to focus when you have ADHD and housemates smoke weed and they get you high against your consent. Without your consent, was Mary impregnated as a teenager by a masculine tribal deity without her consent? Well, anyway, this is Easter. Make that Resurrection Day. And like Peter Rollins would tell you, you deny the resurrection every time you ignore unhoused people. And personally, I'm housed right now. It's just not well housed. But it led to this, and it's going to lead to the music that is created here, not Egypt, somewhere else, and shared with the world, which includes Egypt and a lot of other places with arbitrary borders. Okay. Oh yeah, I got to throw in. It is 3:33 in the video now with my filming, and guess what? I went to buy a dolly to move stuff out of my U-box into this recording studio, which maybe we'll call Dirty Door Recording Studio. It could be White Door, but it's not. Look, another 333, and I wouldn't have even bought this thing had I not been able to find the dollies in the local hardware store. And the guy who helped me pointed them out. This is the first one I went to. I'm like, oh, I could put the quarter of my mattress on this thing. Not that I'm going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep in here, but I'm going to store my mattress in here, which will be nice, absorbing some of the sound. And it led to, yes, a 333, Son of Man 333 Instagram account. A little cross-pollination, cross-merchandising there. So what led to me even discovering Ishtar, let alone Asherah, was a prayer by a relative in which he said, Father, ... Okay, there was content to it, but it was a public prayer, and like Jesus taught us. But it was to Father. I'm like that propaganda Answers in Genesis put out about your crazy uncle at Thanksgiving or whatever. Was it Thanksgiving? I don't know, it was a family get-together. And it led to me finding out that, yes, Yahweh had been married And he got divorced. Sorry, John Cooper, your God is divorced. I know that's just heretical, but you can even find a lecture from Emory University, which is almost, oh, this might work against the argument because you probably think that, Answers in Genesis is more reputable than Ivy League schools. But anyway, Emory is pretty much Ivy League. The fact that it's in Atlanta works against it because it's like a boys' club up there in the Northeast in New England. Screw you, Tom Brady. But anyway, what was I going to say? Yes, you can go on YouTube, and there's a lecture from Emory University on God's ex-wife. There's a lot if you look for it. And why was... Okay, again, I wanted a depiction of Asherah, not Ishtar. This is the closest I could get at my local Walmart grocery outlet. No, it was actually Mystic Sanctuary, because, as Peter Rollins knows, Brutus is a mystic. Elliot Morgan might know that as well. Mystics United, you never know what you're going to stumble across, like a Mystics pin at an art store in DeBerg, PA. Well, we're not in PA anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore. And is that so-called museum in Kentucky or Kansas? I don't know. Either way, it's some crazy basement of what Tim Whitaker might deem evangelical fundamentalism. And we are going to hit you with some rings and hit you with a bow. And it'll be made of cardboard, so it won't leave any bruises. But if someone like John Cooper had his way, he'd probably be stoning you to death in Afghanistan. So stand with the women there who are fighting the Taliban, and it didn't work so well when Skillet's leader of choice back then, George W. Bush, invaded the country and tried to install, dominion and Christian, so-called Christian culture. That worked out really well. Just like Donald Trump's. Hopefully that convicted rapist is not elected to a second term, as it were. So the terms of this engagement are: leading music is going to go down. This depiction of Ishtar may witness it. And, I can't forget, there's a Messianic Jew in New Jersey who thinks a portal was opened so Ishtar could return because she's pissed off at Yahweh for being sexist and obliterating everyone but he himself. I think that's the gist of it. But the fact that I even came across that guy's stuff is insane. It's really cray-cray what or how one thing leads to another, and that I even have this in my left hand. And don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing, or you might just end up recording some Liddy tracks to tape with a Lafayette reel-to-reel that is reeling in the future here because not Ishtar, but Jeshua ben Yosef and Mary made you a fisher of persons. Not brethren, because church or brethren, that sounds pretty sexist. It's pretty patriarchal. That's pretty crazy. You just divide people at love feasts like male and female. Okay, this is 2024, people. So maybe some goodness is coming through a portal. A revelation is coming through a portal from a universal God of love, not just a tribal masculine deity of war, a warrior sky god. I'll leave it at that. Kept it under 9 minutes. That's pretty good on Resurrection Day. So on this 2024 and a dirty door, I say, Ahora, there ain't no time like you. Ahora, ahora. Peace.